The first call I made was to Luke.
That night was probably the worst night of my life.
They checked in and they asked how you were doing and what they could do, or they just do something without even asking. And it's like, gosh, people are so helpful. And I always said, over my dead body would that happen. So the next time I was cleaning, I was like, oh, really?
Well, I had a yellow market heifer named Goldilocks.
She broke someone's hand.
And I was like, I'm just gonna go in the cooler because like they're way out better off than I am. So, yeah.
So there's one catch. Laugh and have a good time, but you cannot talk.
Who's giving a one-word answer?
I don't know.
Wade called me and said, we're coming to get the steer, and we had to call 911.
Welcome to the National Western Stock Show.
I do admire for all that.
I'm Joshua Jimmink, a portrait photographer and artist. I travel the country creating museum-quality masterpieces of American stories. I'm on a mission not simply to create stunning art of everyday people, but to celebrate the lasting legacies behind the artwork. As you join me on my adventures, I pray that you are both inspired and encouraged in your own journey of faith, family, farming, and freedom. It's summertime in southwest Minnesota. During an extended visit to my in-laws' Minnesota farm, I've planned a day trip to the neighboring state of South Dakota, famous for Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills, and even giant pheasants. But I'm skipping all of that to head to Ree Heights, population 56. I'm visiting the Doris family to hear the story of Nick Reimann's tragic death and the events that followed in the years after.
Hi, come on. She goes, I think the doorbell just rang, but they're being really loud. So Nick was Luke's best friend and my husband. Luke and Nick had a business together. They'd trade calves together. They lived down in Stillwater, Oklahoma together.
He went to junior college at NEO and kind of got to know each other. Well, we did get to know each other through John Griswold there in Stillwater. And Nick would come and help me because I was actually helping a couple families in Kansas there and showing, and he'd come to the shows and help, and we became best buds. And Nick went to school at Oklahoma State, and I just more or less quit college and just moved to Stillwater, and we kind of started a little business together of trading calves. And Nick and his family would raise some club calves up here, and he'd breed some of them down. And we'd go all over the country, all the sales, and look at stuff and buy and trade, and built up pretty good clientele.
As I continue to hear his story, I step outside with the family to walk over to the barn that Nick pretty much grew up in.
When I came into the picture, they were living down there, and Nick and I dated for about 4 years and then got married. And we'd go to shows and do all kinds of stuff together, the three of us. I know I told you before, but we were poor, so we would all ride in one vehicle, we'd all share a hotel room, we would eat fast food. We wouldn't spend money because we didn't have it. So we had a lot of time together.
We would talk 4, 5, and 10 times a day, on the phone, and we do everything together. And There's not a day that goes by and not a second that goes by that you don't think about, you know, all them times or think about him. We both had the drive in the business that we wanted to conquer it all, you know. We wanted to win every major show there was, you know, and every state fair there was possibly out there. We wanted to win them all. We actually sold the Grand and Reserve steer the same year in Kansas City at the American Royal. That was, you know, one of the biggest memories of mine and his together, you know. The year prior to that, we went up there and got our butts kicked, and on our way home, we just told each other we got to do better, and the next year we went up there and had Grand and Reserve, and that was a special moment that I always remember for the rest of my life. We had tremendous amount of success. Numerous, you know, state fair champions to winning Denver to Louisville to Fort Worth to, you know, all them big shows, you know. It was a blast.
And then in 2014, April 27, 2014, Nick and 3 other young men were killed in a plane crash when their plane hit a wind tower. I think the first call I made that night, we couldn't get a hold of the guys. We didn't know the plane had crashed yet. So it was after midnight, I believe. The first call I made was to Luke and just said, what time did they leave? Like, when were they supposed to be home? And he's like, they should have been home. And I think at that point you got in your pickup and you drove up here. You started driving. And he was already on the road up here when we got the word that they had found the plane. And he just never left.
That night was probably the worst night of my life, you know, and to a lot of people, and especially Kyrstin, Croy, and Cannon, you know. But it was a night that I wish would never had happened. But
Luke wasn't the only one to show up right away. In the true spirit of rural America and the stock show community, people from near and far came to help in any way they could.
Everybody kind of shows up right away, you know, like everybody's so helpful and they bring meals and, you know, supplies and help with the kids or whatever needs to be done. There just was continued support from people that, you know, were friends, but maybe more acquaintances, you know, people that you didn't expect to step up and they had no obligation to step up, but they were just there. They checked in and they asked how you were doing and what they could do, or they just do something without even asking. And it's like, gosh, people are so helpful and so kind. And then it makes you think differently about, wow, how could I be more supportive to other people? You know, especially people who are going through situations that are horrific, you know, what can you do? Because everyone's there right away, but it's like, what can I do 6 months down the road or a year down the road? You know, how can I be just as helpful as what I've received when I went through it?
you know, Kyrstin's from Granite Falls, Minnesota, and I was originally from, you know, Southwest Kansas. So we don't have family around here, you know. And so the show cattle people that live around here, you know, became some of our very, very close friends that we consider family, you know, and then there's other people, you know, besides that too, but our community, you know, is second to none. You know, they have a helping hand out there for anybody.
Listening to how everyone looked after Kyrstin, Croy, and Cannon warms my heart, and I can only imagine how much it would have meant to Nick to see how folks have cared for his wife and kids.
He was a great dad. He was just such a fun person. He was really, really fun to be around, and he never really got down about stuff, you know, like something that would just ruin my day. He'd be like, whatever, it's fine, we'll figure it out, you know.
He was never really a negative person.
No,
he
ever.
was always positive.
He always said life was too short to be unhappy, so he was going to be happy. And
I probably got another funny memory though with him. Well, I'd come up here and I would stay with Nick and Kyrstin, and me and Nick would leave in the mornings and we'd drive around and look at calves. And one single. I never did laundry or did none of that. I just have a big pile of clothes right inside the door there. Kyrstin's like, Luke, you have got to do something with your dirty clothes. I'm
Like right inside the entry door, not his room, the entry when you walk in the house.
I'm like, it'll be fun. I just like kind of ignored it, not a big deal. And me and Nick got in the car and we left or whatever. And pretty soon later that day, I get a text from Kyrstin and it says, "Thank you for picking your clothes up."
He didn't respond. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like,
I'm
I
okay,
thanked
whatever.
him.
I looked over at Nick. I said, "Did you do something with my clothes?" He's like, "Yeah, I picked them up for you. It's not a big deal." Well, he just picked them up and just chucked them inside the closet.
The front closet.
Right inside the deal.
Yeah.
And they're all in there.
So the next time I was cleaning, I was like, oh, really? He was so proud of his kids. And he'd always had said they were going to show, you know, sorry, I'm choked up.
Nick's kids, Croy and Cannon, would eventually get the chance to show cattle as Nick had wished. Made possible by Luke, who, if you haven't guessed by now, later married Kyrstin, and the couple have now welcomed Cahill and Chapel to the family.
Nick would always say to Luke, if anything ever happened to him, that Luke would have to move up here and take care of me and the kids. And I always said, over my dead body would that happen? Look at us now.
Yeah.
And they'd laugh, and I'm like, no, I'm serious.
So the next question is, would Croy or Cannon ever have a chance to show at the National Western Stock Show in Denver, Colorado? It is here that the traveling trophy for the Supreme Grand Champion Market Steer was named in Nick Reimann's memory. So as we tour Nick's childhood barn, I listen to how the family's story continues to unfold, starting with Croy and Cannon's first memories showing cattle.
Well, I had a yellow market heifer named Goldilocks.
She broke someone's hand.
It was her first show, and I was so scared. And somebody was holding her, and then she, like, freaked out and got away, and, like, the halter was wrapped around her hand, and so she got, like, dragged, and her hand got messed up. And I did not show her that day, because I was, like, 8 or 9, and I was so scared. I did not like her.
I had a heifer named Blue. She was a blue roam. She wasn't very nice. Well, she was, and then she started headbutting me when I got close to her. So...
She liked you.
Kind of. I tried to give her feed once and she headbutted me.
Despite maybe not having the best memories of their first heifers, the siblings kept at it, growing a love for the industry their dad was so passionate about.
Kendra Walter, she had a white steer at the South Dakota State Fair. That thing was so hairy, and I loved it. And so when I saw it, I was just like, Luke, can I please have a steer? Another one, please? Because I'd already shown one steer before, but I didn't really like him. But I really wanted one with a bunch of hair after I saw him, and he was so cute.
So back when like Nick was a kid growing up, like what all was this used for?
This one, I think, used to be like an old like cabin barn.
Okay.
This used to be like where his grandpa lived, and they. Oh yeah, it was just a kind of an old barn they used to have cows in, and.
You guys redid it twice.
Yeah. The first time we did it, the wash rack was only, you can kind of see the outline of it. The wall was here and it went to here.
Okay, yeah.
And then after that, we redid it and we made it bigger, you know. The kids are over here at basically a little after 7. The guys kind of already have most of the cattle in the barn, and then the kids start rinsing, but they rinse until noon every day. And then they go back to the house, and then they come back to do their evening rinsing about 5:30. So, I mean, it's a lot of time spent right here. As far as just working hair and, you know, and trying to grow it, and just getting them gentled down where they can, you know, more like hands-on. And that's a lot of it anymore with the showing side of it. I mean, you can go out and spend the most money you want on, you think, the very best calf there is, but if you don't put no work into it, you ain't gonna, I mean, you can get to the end, but you're not gonna be up there on the top, you know.
Time spent in the wash racks is crucial for a show calf. A hair care routine of rinsing, conditioning, brushing, and blowing helps to grow hair that doesn't just achieve the cute, fluffy look that Canon loves, but it's essential for creating the winning look come show day.
And the older they get, the more time we put in.
Oh, yeah.
Roy stays over here all day. He slept 10 last night.
Yeah. And then both of the kids are getting to the age now where they like it, you know. At first, you know, when they first started showing, they didn't. I mean, they like going to shows and seeing their buddies and socializing, which just being kids, you know. But now the older they're getting, the more they like to actually be here and working on them, and which makes me happy, you know. I probably wouldn't want to raise my kids any other way, you know. I mean, just the good-hearted people there is out there, and what this business does is teaches kids, you know, a work ethic, you know. I mean, having to get up in the morning, go take care of their livestock, feed them, you know, put them in the barn and work in the hair, and being good showmen. And I mean, it just, there's no other way I'd want to really honestly raise our kids. We'd use this room for about a little bit of everything. Doctoring a calf to pulling a calf and cows. So it all kind of multi-purpose room.
Up next in the tour is a room that folks outside of the stock show community rarely know exist. The cool room.
This is where we got like our state fair steers, and we got our Kansas City steer. So them 4 down there are ones we'll take to our state fair. And then this one here, Croy will take him to Kansas City.
The cooler is another ingredient in growing show-ready hair. It provides a cool, clean environment that encourages hair growth even in the middle of hot summer months. These cool rooms are often more comfortable than climates that a lot of humans live in.
Really, these animals live like kings.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. So
Best
the year I was
life, yeah.
pregnant with Croy, we lived here, and it's like a window unit, air conditioner, and it went out. And I was so pregnant and miserable. And I was like, I'm just gonna go in the cooler because like they're way up better off than I am at this point. So yeah, they're pampered.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get probably taken care of better than most human beings do. I mean, as far as,
In love.
I mean, yeah.
I know.
They get bathed every day and their hair worked and eat the best feed and nutrients and, you know, I mean, yeah, 100%. So yeah, that's kind of the tour of the barn. Then so this time of year, obviously we're out here, it's all, you know, pens set up, porticles and fans, but during the wintertime, during calving, you know, all this will be taken out. I mean, the pens will still be there, but this is where we calve all the cows too. So it'll be negative 25 out, winds blowing and snow's blowing. It gets brutal. We run a couple hundred head of cows, and the majority of all of our stuff, like we don't have that many like AI cows anymore. We got a bunch of donor cows that we flush a lot, and you know, a lot of IVF embryos, and still do a little conventional flushing, but most of our calves are all ET calves.
Embryo transfer and IVF are important tools to cattlemen in the modern era. A big advantage it can provide over natural breeding is the amount of calves a single cow with superior genetics can produce. Since the gestation period of a cow is 9 months, natural breeding produces only 1 calf a year from a single cow. But with embryo transfer, a donor cow can pass on dozens of her embryos to recipient cows in a single year. Top donor cows can produce over 60 calves in a year.
So we'll use this like as an area like at nights. We'll put like 10, 12 cows in there at night that we can watch them on the cameras.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When we're getting in calving season.
That's cool.
And then this time of year we use that area for like a practice show ring where the kids can go into it. We have a pasture sale here in the fall, and then we'll have a few more online sales throughout, October, November, December, and then we'll have a big production cell with two good friends of mine, Rob Van Hole over in Madison and Brad Smith over in Esterville, Iowa. We have a big cell down there in Sioux Falls, and we'll sell between 275 to 300 head of, females, bred females, cows to bred heifers to pregnant recips to, be about roughly 300 head. The majority of all these are the kids as heifers that'll go to like state fair. Like these 4 here will go to state fair, and that one will. This will be one that Croy will show at Denver this year. And then like Cannon's Denver steers in that far end deal down there in that practice arena. Okay. That's where her Denver one is. Then we got a county fair one, and then Cahill's heifer.
With the barn tour done, Luke has one more place to show me before I start to put together the pieces of their story into a portrait. The sale pasture. This was a favorite place of Nick's, where he got the Reimann show cattle sales started, and where Luke now continues to sell some of the highest quality calves money can buy.
So like that structure is kind of like, it's a very recognizable
Creek feeder. That's been there for, we still use that. That was, Nick always said that creek feeder, the calves love that creek feeder more than they loved any other creek feeder. So we'd put fresh feed in there. We put fresh feed in there every day.
After taking it all in, it's time to head back to the house and photograph the images of the family that will be used in the final portrait. Because I want to see some genuine interactions in front of the camera, I decide to have the family play a fun game as I snap away, making me part portrait photographer and part game show host.
I'm going to give you guys like a scale. I'm going to say, like, on this side, person who takes the longest to get ready, fastest to get ready, and y'all arrange yourself how you think you are, okay? But so there's one catch. Laugh and have a good time, but you cannot talk. Okay? But you feel free to.
Slowest to get ready or fastest?
But I might call something else out different. Okay? So, but yeah, just you can fight for a spot or whatever, but like have fun with it, and then once you all get settled, just laugh, look at each other, and have a good time. All right?
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, listen.
All right, so smallest appetite, biggest appetite. Go. Love it. All right. Takes the shortest showers, longest showers. Go. Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay. Loves cattle the most, loves cattle the least. Go. That's a hard one. Love it. Awesome. Go ahead and squeeze on in tight.
With a wide range of authentic expressions captured within my camera, there's just one final piece of the family's story to hear. Would Croy or Cannon make it to Denver to compete for the Nick Reimann Memorial Trophy?
First I saw like the trailer for South Dakota State Fair, and that's kind of what got us into steer showing. And then we didn't go to Denver forever because of COVID, and it got canceled. Mm-hmm. So we did have a steer for that one year, but then we sold them. And then we bought Frosty and worked on him.
With plans in place to take Frosty to the 2024 National Western in Denver, uncertainty struck again.
Yeah, so about 2 weeks before Denver, Luke collapsed at our house, and we had to call 911. And again, the whole community showed up before anyone even could get here. The sheriff was here, and then other people that had heard over the scanner, what had happened, were here. So he was transferred to Sioux Falls, and not really sure what exactly happened, but he had a lot of neurological side effects, and he wasn't up to par by Denver. Croy kept asking, do I still get to go? And we'd be like,
Yeah,
we hope so, but we don't know.
Wade Rogers and Nolan Ferguson. Yeah, them two guys there, if it wasn't for them and, numerous other close friends of what we got,
Everybody just took care of it. We had people that came and watched the kids so I could be with Luke in Sioux Falls. Wade called me and said, we're coming to get the steer. And I was like, no, it's okay. And he goes, it's already done. And I'm like, okay, sounds good.
They got him. They took him down to Wade's, and Wade and his crew took him out to Denver, and then Nolan and Wade clipped him and did all that.
Clipping is an art. It consists of taking hair clippers and trimming practically every square inch of hair on a calf. It's a painstaking process that allows one to sculpt a calf into the ideal show look. At certain shows like Denver, this is the expected method of preparing a calf for the show ring. One that, if not done with great skill and care, you wouldn't even have a shot at winning.
We actually got that steer from Steve Bonham, and then his crew was out there in Denver, and they were clipping calves, and they went up there and clipped over him before we went into the show. And I mean, it was just a lot of people, that stepped up that, at the time I didn't even think we was going to be able to go. I'd do anything for them guys. I'd give the shirt off my back for them if they asked me to. So I'll always be in debt to them for the rest of my life for what they did.
With the help of many good folks, Frosty arrived on time in Denver, clipped and ready to show. And Luke, well, he recovered in time to be present as well. And with that, let's descend upon Denver to witness the show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to showbarnflix and the National Western Stock Show. My name's Kent Jakey, and I am up here on the announcer stand with my dear friend Christy Collins. We are moving into another absolutely power class of steers. And
six?
This is 6. Yep.
How many we have? 10.
Looks like we got 10.
Boy, there's some you just talk about on paper.
Oh, yeah. Just when you just read down the names of the kids that are in here. Of course,
faces.
The one that sticks out to me is, of course, Croy Reimann. Croy, the son of the late Nick Reimann, who the Memorial Trophy is named after here at the Denver National Western Stock Show. Of course, his mom, Nick's mom and dad is here. His widow, Kyrstin, and the rest of the kids are all here. And, of course, this is Croy's first time showing hit the National Western. What an emotional time for everybody in the States. I know everybody that knew Nick Reimann, knew how passionate he was about this show, knew how passionate he was about this business. And to have his oldest son show a steer here at the National Western is quite a day. So it's down between the Grady calf and Croy Reimann wins.
It's okay, Jake.
Oh, man.
That's a good steer.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, the judges, all 3 of us, looked up here and said that was maybe as stout a steer class that they'd ever seen together as a collective group. And what a steer, Christy, to win that class. I know I got a little choked up, but Nick would have been proud of that. And anybody that knew Nick Reimann would be knows that he deserved to win that calf. That calf was just so good from the ground up, and it just warms my heart to watch Croy Reimann win the Class 6 at the National Western Stock Show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to showbarnflix.com, and we want to thank Landry and the great crew for offering and providing this great service to what truly has been one of the greatest shows that I've had a chance to witness. My co-partner in crime here, Christy Collins, had to catch a flight to get home, but I've got a great co-pilot with me tonight, Miss Jen Boca. There's no greater steer show in my eye in the world than to have these champions come out on this green carpet.
That's right. You know, just sitting watching this show today, the soundness in this entire group of calves was impressive. You said maybe this was one of the best steer shows you've ever seen, and I would wager to say that the collective group of cattle represented today in this ring were the most sound and powerful set of calves we've seen in National Western's history.
The three judges that you had today, I know them all well, and they're all very different. They all like different things.
That's very true.
But the combination of those three guys and the way they explained those cattle today and described those cattle was not only spot on, but it was very complimentary of those kids. Coming in next, here again, Croy Reimann, Rehite, South Dakota. Here's an In God We Trust Whitey. Of course, Whitey is the famous donor that was in the out of the Houston 208 female. Another royally bred calf, and this is Nick Reimann's son. Standing here in the front, as you see right here in front of the stand, that's the Reimann family. Of course, from left to right is your screen. That's Nora Reimann and Kent Reimann, the tall, good-looking fellow right there. That is the mother and father of Nick Reimann. Of course, Nick, we lost tragically here a few years ago in a plane accident. A gentleman that in all of our hearts love this business and love this steer show more than anything in life. And standing next to Kent and Nora is the granddaughter, the daughter of Nick Reimann. It's Cannon, and then his widow Kyrstin standing right there next to her. Of course, their son Croy is not standing there because, ladies and gentlemen, he's bringing a steer into the champion drive tonight. So as our judges are working their way around this set of calves, it is, again, just an absolute tremendous atmosphere around here. I mean, for those of you at home, the power in this set of calves is like none other I've ever seen at this show. I mean, we've always had great steer shows here, Jen, but I'm going to tell you, the depth, the quality of not only the kids, but the cattle that we've had has just been unparalleled for this show. And everybody in the stands is focused on these kids, and I'm sure everybody's got their favorite. But I'm telling you, anywhere they land tonight, there's going to be a champion that's well-deserved.
Well, we're going to get on with your championship round here, and all I got to say is wow. I mean, incredible set of steers today. This is our future here, folks, and you know what? I think somebody told me one time, you know, the average 4-H'er and FFA'er, this is kind of a joke, is 38 years old. I think that's a good thing, you know what I mean? I think what that goes back to is family. You know, I'm a big family guy. All these kids are backed by family, and there's a lot of things things that go with these, and I can't imagine doing this industry without my family. So to me, I think keep the family in it. I think that's important. To me, that's what molds and develops these kids down through the future.
This deal's fun, and if you're not having fun, you should try something different, because when you get these cattle out here, it's exciting. My heart's racing right now. This atmosphere and what we're teaching these kids, there's nothing better. We're teaching them how to be competitors out here in the show ring and in life.
Well, congratulations to these kids. How about it? Let's put our hands together for all of them that make it back in your grand drive. Just for me, I just want to bare my heart to you. And the fact is, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what tomorrow brings. You don't know anything about anything except the moment right here, right now. And I encourage you to live in that moment. I encourage you to tell the folks that you love them, to show them that you love them. I encourage you to forgive others, to care about people, to be the bigger man or the bigger lady in every circumstance. I encourage you to have a relationship with the one and only, the only Savior you'll ever have, the Lord Jesus Christ. And if you'll do that, we'll all see each other at the end of the destination. To the cattle, they've been awesome. To the folks here, they've been awesome. I really appreciate this opportunity as well.
3 great men.
Yes, they were. They did a great job today and took it very serious and gave their honest opinions. And as the 3 men are walking around, they're coming down the line here.
Here we go.
And, oh my God.
Wow.
Croy Reimann.
Croy Reimann.
It's your champion steer of the 2024 National Western, the son of Nick Reimann. I don't know, this is as special a moment in this business as I've ever witnessed. And Kyrstin, Croy's mom, and Cannon, Croy's sister, of course Nick's children, and of course Nick's mom and dad, Kent and Nora Reimann. Great family, and again, this is just a very, very special time for this industry. What a great calf, and what a great champion.
Calf's about as close to perfect as they can.
He's pretty good. He's so good in his body, and he's so good on his feet and legs. Congratulations to Croy Reimann, and of course the Reimann family, and a special thank you and a big shout out to Luke Doris. Of course, Luke is Croy's stepdad, and had a little health problems here a couple weeks ago, and made it here today, and was actually here to help get the calf ready today.
I was very nervous, very nervous. It's just like a total different thing when it's your own kid. I mean, when you got your kids out there and don't quite have your calf set up the way you want it, and
they're not looking at you.
They're not looking at you, and yeah, and they're just like, you're pointing at them, and they're just like, what are you talking about, type of deal.
We have a picture of Croy in Denver looking up at the ceiling, and we're like, this is Croy.
Me and Nick, when we were selling cattle, we sold steers, we won Denver 3 years in a row. I mean, before, if it's a customer's kid you out there showing, I mean, yeah, you're kind of nervous, but you're kind of sitting back and kind of watching the show and visiting with your buddy. But when it's your kid out there in the grand drive, you're like on point, and you want the calf to be set up to the very, perfect and this and that. And then having a caliber of calf that has a shot to win the show, is a chance in a lifetime. There's no other way I'd want to really honestly raise our kids. When I was in the hospital, and then people stepping up to help Croy and Kyrstin and the kids out so we could make it to Denver, it was unbelievable. The show industry is second to none for that.
You have so many friends, and we all want to win the show. You all go to the show because you want to win, right? But we're so happy for our friends when they win too. You know, it's just, it teaches the kids like, yeah, you want to try your hardest to win, but we're also just elated when people that were so good to us win the show too. You know, we're just as happy for them. It's just awesome how everybody helps everybody, no matter what.
And so, yeah, I was straight up nervous, yeah. And then he got picked and I about passed out.
At the beginning, I didn't really think he was gonna win. I didn't really have that much faith in him. So I was just kind of like watching. I'm like, and I was just like really invested in it and like watching the judges. And that they kind of took a while because they were going over everything. And so I was like staring at them the whole time. And I was like right next to my mom when he won, and she like freaked out and was so happy. There's pictures. She's just like jumping, and I'm just like, oh, yeah.
When I asked Croy what it was like winning Grand Champion, he, understandably, was at a loss for words.
Scary, very, very cold, nervous. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You're just giving a one-word answer.
I don't know. You be quiet.
Scary, cold, amazing. Shut up. I'm just saying. Oh, one thing. I had this steer, and I showed him at the American Royal Kansas City. His name was Coolio, and he was black and white. I think he was 10 times better than Frosty. I'm just saying. I loved him. He was mean, but he was fluffy.
Now that I've heard the incredible events of this family's journey, including Cannon getting the fluffy steer she always wanted, it's time to travel back home to Texas. It is there that I'll pick up my digital paintbrush and start the weeks-long process of piecing together their story in a family portrait for them to experience every day on their wall. As I construct the many details of the portrait, I constantly think back to the best memories of the family and what's most important to them.
The best memories? For me, I guess it's just when we're together. Like shows are fun because, yeah, we're always together, and I mean, they're hectic and it's a lot of work, but it's really fun. At the end of the day, you're tired, but it's a good tired, and you sleep well and you get up and do it all again the next day. So I think just when we're all together as a family is my favorite memories.
The genuine interactions captured on camera are key to accomplishing a real sense of togetherness in the portrait, with Mom and Dad, the foundational relationship of the family, at the center.
She is a very good mom, very good wife. I wouldn't want to spend the rest of my life with anybody else but her. I do admire her for all that.
Thank you. I'm thankful that Luke has put up with us and been patient with us. He came into a tough situation. He's been steady, and he's been the rock. He's a hard worker. He's teaching the kids that, that perseverance and work ethic and, not quitting till you're done is important.
He's just kind of been like an awesome dad, and he's just always been there.
Thinking back to Nick, I look for ways to incorporate the legacy and the memories he left behind.
His laugh was like 1 in a million. Like, people always remember him for his laugh. And I don't know that I can pick just one thing. He was a fun person, and his kids act a lot like him without even trying to. That's what I remember the most, and when I think of him, that's what I think of.
With his kids being a whole lot like him, I thought it special to have them laughing just as Nick used to.
Probably what he left behind for me, he had the desire or the want to be the best club cat producer there was, and he had that drive in him and left it behind with me.
Multiple details of Nick and Luke's cattle journey are included. The old Reimann show cattle sign with the Grand and Reserve banners from the 2006 American Royal, a favorite memory of Luke's. The Doris cattle sign, some of Luke's donor cows, and, of course, the sale pasture in the distance with Nick's favorite creep feeder. Finally, in the center, Nick's old barn that currently houses the cooler, clipping room, and wash rack. To finish it off, I wanted to add in the State Fair trailer, the Doris home, and their new top family memory.
I think Denver now. I mean, I don't know how you top that. That was, this year's been pretty awesome.
I mean, I thought I was about to pass out when he got picked, you know. I mean, it was a rush, that's for sure.
The winning moment is depicted inside the legendary stadium arena, with the Nick Reimann trophy resting just behind Croy. All in all, this family's story is an incredible journey with God's hand evident throughout.
Growing up, I mean, I never really probably went to church probably as much as I probably should have, you know. We were always working or doing something like that, but since we've been together, I've been to church way more, listening to the sermons and everything. It hit home, you know, with me a lot.
God's love and faithfulness has been turning tragedy into beauty since the beginning of time. It's stories like these that give you hope during hardship. All forever be impacted by the Reimanns and Doris' story. Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to hear the Dorises and Reimanns' journey and how it has blessed me personally. May their story be a continual reminder of your faithfulness, even in the midst of hard times. Thank you for Nick Reimann and how you've used his life and legacy to impact so many others. Thank you for Luke Doris and all that he's tirelessly done to love and serve those in his life. Please bless him and Kyrstin and their commitment to each other and to their precious family as they live life and seek you through your word and prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. Hi y'all, 3 things real quick before we wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this pilot episode of Lasting Legacies. The idea of a show that celebrates true American values in a beautiful and authentic way has been on my mind for quite some time now. And I'm so excited to bring it to your screens with stories like Nick's and many, many others. Nick's story has impacted me, and I sincerely hope it impacts many others. Again, this is a pilot episode for this show, so if you loved it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you liked about it, what your thoughts are, and share it with your friends. I have many more stories of faith, family, farming, and freedom lined up to produce a full season of Lasting Legacies. I just need to hear from you, the audience, if you would love to see a full season produced, so let me know in the comments. So if you would love to help support me in this possible endeavor of a full season, or maybe you'd simply love to just have the same portrait experience that the Dorises had, feel free to contact me to learn more about how you can have your own museum quality wall portrait made of your story. Lastly, maybe you don't show livestock, but watching this episode has made you want to get your kids involved in it somehow. Leave a comment below and I would love to help point you in the right direction for that. It could be more possible than you think, even if you don't own property. And most importantly, maybe you're going through your own hard times and you need prayer and support. Please comment below and let us know. I firmly believe that one of the best things we can do is surrounding those in need with prayer and support, just like in this episode. God bless.